Welcome to P.S Weekly, the sound of the New York City school system.
P.S Weekly is a collaboration between The Bell and Chalkbeat New York.
We're your hosts this week. I'm Ava Stryker-Robbins.
And I'm Salma Baksh.
Welcome to our last P.S Weekly episode of our first season. Today, we have a special 2-for-1 episode about funding for arts programs at New York City schools, and as we gear up for summer, we're diving into swimming pools.
But first, the Chalkbeat Bulletin.
I'm Mike Gelson-Rooney, a reporter from Chalkbeat. Here's a recap of the week's biggest education stories. New York Governor Kathy Hochul said she's considering legislation to ban student cell phone use at schools. After the governor's comments, City Schools Chancellor David Banks said he's also interested in exploring the issue. Hundreds of New York City schools already have their own cell phone bans. The City Education Department gave the Brooklyn School of Inquiry a waiver from following the new citywide literacy curriculum mandate. The gifted and talented school is the first in the city to receive an exemption. That means the school won't have to use their district's curriculum, which students and parents said was dry and relied on excerpts instead of full books. And Isaac Regnier, a Brooklyn 7th grader, collected over 6,000 signatures on his petition to cancel school on Monday, December 23rd of this year. Without the cancellation, there would be a one-day school week before winter break starts on Tuesday, December 24th. The 12-year-old argues few people will show up that day. To stay up to date on local education news throughout the week, go to chalkbeat.org/newsletters and sign up for the New York Daily Roundup.
Thanks, Chalkbeat.
Every day, hundreds of thousands of New York City students come to school. It's a given that, in time, they will learn their multiplication tables, the American Revolution, and other important academic subjects. But classes in the arts can be just as important in helping students enjoy their school day and stimulating their creativity.
We also know that, historically, schools in lower-income neighborhoods are less likely to have access to a full range of arts and extracurriculars.
In 2014, New York City released a report providing a first-ever school-by-school breakdown of the state of arts education. In that report, we learned that 306 schools, almost 20%, did not have a certified arts teacher.
10 years later, this number remains the same.
For P.S Weekly reporter Sanaa Stokes, the issue became personal earlier this spring. She has the story.
All right, we will start with our vocal resonators. Can I ask someone to please lead us? Next
It's 2 p.m. at the Professional Performing Arts School, or PPAS, in Hell's Kitchen. I'm in my voice and speech class. We're doing a warm-up exercise before we start the class.
I'd like to start with chest. Let's go, Andre.
I've been a student here since 6th grade. The rigorous drama classes at PPAS are a core part of our education, and the reason all of us go here. High school students take drama for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. For middle schoolers, musical theater classes run 1.5 hours each day. We love the drama.
Good. Okay, what about tea?
Speaking of drama, the drama in this story reached me late one night in March. My friend Nina called me to break the news. The drama program would be ending in April. Waterwell, the company that has staffed and managed the PPAS drama program for 13 years, explained in an email that the decision was a result of a 20% budget cut. The NYC Department of Education said it was not due to budget cuts, but was a result of Waterwell increasing its prices. See? Drama. Regardless of the reason, I couldn't believe it was real. I was not ready to see the program end, and I wasn't the only one who was disappointed.
Yes, so I was at home, and I was just, sitting on my couch. I think I was doing homework or something. No, I was watching YouTube. And then I saw the email, and then I, clicked on it.
This is 16-year-old Zelda Zinshine. She's a junior drama major at the school where she takes Waterwell classes.
And I didn't really understand what it meant. It said like drama classes were ending like much earlier. I didn't realize that meant like no more water well. It didn't really sink in immediately. But then after like I started talking to my mom about it, I was like, oh my gosh, no more water well. Does that also mean no more water well next year? Which basically means we don't have a program like at all, which is insane.
What is your favorite part of drama class with Waterwell?
My favorite of our 4 acting classes is definitely like our regular acting classes. I really like doing our scenes. One project that stood out to me was the podcast project in voice and speech. That was just a lot of fun because we got to like write our own scripts. We got to do some voice acting, which I feel like we don't do a lot.
To say Zelda was bummed when the program was cut is an understatement.
A lot of people were really, really pissed. I was also really pissed. Our voice and speech class, people were just like, what's the point? If it's all about to end and we're not going to get juries, it feels kind of pointless, which it was just really sad, honestly.
And while the students were upset, some teachers were at risk of losing their jobs.
That was not a good day.
This is Ashley Malafronte, a Waterwell theater history teacher at the school. The day she found out about the cuts in March, she had taught a class earlier that day about living newspapers. It's a form of theater where people collaborate to make a play about current events.
And I remember having a conversation with one of the groups in the room about how maybe cuts to budgets and arts funding in the city might be an interesting topic. And then I went straight to this staff meeting where all of the faculty were sitting around a table at the Waterwell office, and we were told that there was a budget shortage and that our contracts would be ending early. I felt shock. And immediately I was thinking about, how do I preserve the last month of school for these students? These students work really hard and deserve really excellent arts training. And I also didn't know about the future of my own employment.
The students and teachers sulked for a day and then got to work to find a solution to save the program. One 7th grade student, Tennyson Artiglaire, started a GoFundMe campaign to save the program. The donations started trickling in: $5, $10, $15, $50, as well as heartfelt messages like "Support the arts. Life isn't life without them." Famous alumni like actor Jeremy Allen White also donated, and singer-songwriter Alicia Keys helped by sharing hashtags on Instagram under the account PPAS alum. And after nearly $60,000 is raised, the students got a big surprise.
Today we found out that Rock Nation is going to be donating $60,000.
That was Tennyson on the news.
There wasn't a lot of other things that we could have done other than donating, other than promoting.
And here's Zelda again.
It's also like we're kids. Like a lot of us don't have jobs. The most we can do is like ask adults and our parents for money. So it feels really like we're helpless, and it really sucks. All the alumni who donated, I think that's really great. It was really, really helpful, and we really needed them. So yeah, like thank you so much to the alumni.
Do you think that the funding is a permanent fix, or will there be the same issue next year?
Unfortunately, I think there might be the same issue next year. I'm trying not to be too hopeful because like we don't know exactly what's happening.
And this is the problem: the uncertainty. While the drama program was saved this year, nobody knows what's going to happen next year. What we do know is that art matters.
So usually I'm afraid of like public speaking and stuff, but when I'm performing, it's just different. It feels a lot more comfortable for me, and it's also like a big form of self-expression. If I'm really angry, for example, like there's nothing that helps me like let my emotions out than doing a really angry scene.
Miss Malafronte, the theater history teacher, says funding for the arts also gives more people the opportunity to participate in the arts, which, in turn, expands the art form.
Arts programs like this need to exist because if there is not excellent training provided for free to our young artists, then the only people getting training are going to be the ones who can afford it. And then the only artists we have are going to be a smaller percentage of the population, and it's going to cut some folks off.
As of now, we are unsure about the future of Waterwell's partnership with PPAS. What I do know is that art education matters, and every student in New York deserves access to art education. Most New York City schools don't have the robust drama programs and famous alumni to help generate thousands of dollars. All schools, not only performing arts schools, should have performing art programs.
Once again, that was Sanaa Stokes.
Hi, from the Next Generation Politics podcast, The Roundtable, by Gen Z, for Gen Z. Each week, we host engaging conversations about global political issues to encourage civic engagement and civil dialogue across various divides: socioeconomic, racial, ethnic, political, and regional.
We've covered a myriad of civic issues from criminal justice to media literacy to voting rights. Join us for The Roundtable, a Next Generation Politics podcast, available on all streaming platforms including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and many more. Thank you for listening.
Salma, the weather outside is getting
Hotter. I know. It's almost summer.
I'm so excited. No homework, ice cream, shorts, and swimming pools.
Do you know how to swim, Ava?
Yeah, I took classes at a local community center when I was little.
I also took paid lessons when I was about 10.
I think that's how most people learn how to swim in New York City, because access to pools and swimming lessons here isn't universal.
That's true. Our reporter Marcellino Melika discovered that New York City lags well behind other cities when it comes to swim safety. The consequences can be severe.
Here's the story.
How old were you when you started learning how to swim?
I would say I was about 4 to 5 years old. So it's been almost more than 10 years now.
This is Maya Escobar, a junior at Francis Lewis High School. Why did you start going to these lessons, especially at 4 or 5 years old?
So it was mostly my mother's choice because, not to trauma dump, but she had a really hard experience with drowning. So she put me in swimming at a very young age so I know how to swim. She also put my brother through it as well.
Maya's mother almost drowned as a child, so she wanted to make sure Maya didn't have any close calls. And those lessons paid off. Not only did Maya learn to swim, she also joined her school's swim team in 2022, and she's good. She won a first place medal for swimming relay and came in 4th for the 100-yard backstroke. Her swim team is undefeated this year, but those early lessons weren't cheap.
I would say it was over $100 for one class, and for that time, it was a lot.
Maya's family had to pay for swim lessons because back in 2012, free lessons in New York were scarce. Maya is lucky her family could afford to pay for swim lessons, but for many others, learning life-saving swimming techniques is not an option, especially for marginalized groups. In 2017, for every white person who couldn't swim, there were nearly 3 Latino, 4 Black, and 4 Asian New Yorkers who couldn't swim. New York City has fewer public pools per capita than any other major U.S. city. More than 2/3 of New Yorkers don't have access to a pool near their homes. And I can confirm, I never learned to swim. I go to one of the biggest high schools in the city, the same one as Maya, and we don't have a pool. Growing up, my family and I never heard of any free swim lessons either. As a New Yorker, I probably won't learn how to drive anytime soon. But not knowing how to drive isn't a threat to my life, while not knowing how to swim is. After all, we're surrounded by 500 miles of waterfront.
If you don't know how to swim, how will you survive in a situation where you're fully surrounded by water, you don't know what to do? So learning how to swim should be a basic skill that someone should know from when they're very young.
Should the city be actively working on teaching more people how to swim?
I believe they should be because New York is surrounded by water. If NYC wants to keep their citizens safe, they should be keeping their citizens in mind and having them take swimming classes.
And staying alive is not the only benefit.
As I grow older, now I see all the new opportunities swimming can give me, like being on a swim team, being a lifeguard, being a teacher, a volunteer, and to all the different fields that swimming has some type of impact on.
If learning how to swim early on has a lot of benefits, why hasn't the city done more to teach its citizens how to swim? I called up Katie Honan, a reporter at the nonprofit news site The City, to find out. She's reported on pools and swim education for years, and for her, it's personal.
I always talk about this experience growing up by the beach. You did not want to hear a helicopter because that's when you knew there was a rescue. And, you hear enough of that growing up, and it's just depressing.
So why haven't more New York City kids learned to swim?
It's a lot of issues. Like in so many issues in New York City, there are financial barriers. Learning how to swim, if you want to get private swim lessons, is so insanely expensive.
New York City has 48 pools within their public school system, many needing repairs, totaling in the millions before they could be used. People are missing out on more than just public pool access and learning how to swim. This means that some won't even learn basic water safety.
What to do if you get caught in a riptide, what to do to remain safe, to know not to go into the water, to know when do not go into an ocean or pool without a lifeguard present, all this kind of stuff. It's unfortunately not really taught in schools or in any other way in the city in a way that I think is enough.
And if the city doesn't have enough money, then it can't do a lot of things, like fix pools or provide free or inexpensive swimming lessons. But also,
well, if you're not teaching hundreds or thousands of kids how to swim when they're 8, 9, 10, 11, that means at 16 they're not going to become lifeguards. That means you're continuing to prevent having these programs to teach people how to swim. People who are wealthier are going to be able to afford private swim lessons. They're going to have access to pools. You need to have a crop of people who know how to swim well and then know how to teach it.
This essentially creates a lifeguard shortage.
That's the biggest issue, and that also points to systemic and decades-long issues with the union that represents these lifeguards. It's this sort of like slow-moving disaster and a slow-moving crisis.
Is the city doing anything to address these issues?
Get in the shallow end of the pool.
In response to the critical lifeguard shortage, on May 24th, Mayor Adams made a deal with the union representing lifeguards. This deal loosened requirements on lifeguard physical qualifications. The deal also gave the Parks Department more control over lifeguard training operations. These changes will allow for more people to work as lifeguards and use public pools.
That's become a hallmark of this administration. There's just too many outdated rules that got in the way. It was clear that we had to do more to get lifeguards on our beaches. These just common sense changes.
The lifeguard issue is being addressed. But what is the city doing to directly teach its people to swim?
Yeah, so the Learn to Swim program teaches kids how to swim, and adults also. And there have been some efforts to fund more people learning how to swim.
The Learn to Swim program is funded by the Parks Department, which is also having part of its budget cut by the city. And even if the city did have more money, it would only go so far.
It is another pun, a drop in the bucket for teaching so many people how to swim. There have been efforts to just increase funding and increase access. But again, you're going to hit a wall because there's only so many pools. There's only so many people who can be instructors. There's only so many lifeguards.
So what can the city do to teach more people how to swim? It could start early on.
If it's baked into the public education system, people are going to learn how to swim that way.
Some organizations are already finding success with teaching kids how to swim. Asphalt Green, a Manhattan-based nonprofit, runs a program called Waterproofing in locations across the city. it's given over 35,000 second graders swim education, all within 45-minute classes held 5 times a week, just like a normal school class. And as Maya knows firsthand, exposure to swim lessons isn't just about keeping you safe. It could be about creating community and lasting bonds.
Sophomore year, I joined the swimming team, and I was introduced to a whole new community of people that had the same interests as me. And I'm still friends with a bunch of the people I knew from sophomore year because of swimming.
City beaches opened last week, and city pools opened June 27th. For more information about the Parks Department and the Learn to Swim program, take a look at the links in our show notes. Stay cool and stay safe. This is Marcellino Melika reporting for P.S Weekly.
Thanks, Marcel. That's it for today.
Ava, I can't believe it's the official last episode of this season of P.S Weekly.
Yeah, it's crazy. Time really flies. We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah. You produced the episode about special education. I recently produced the one about mental health. I think it's really cool that we were able to make episodes about issues we're each passionate about.
Yeah, I agree. And as sad as I am that it's the end, I can't wait to hear the stories future reporters will share with the world as well.
Listeners, we're so grateful for your support. This would not have been possible without you.
We've had so much fun being reporters for the first official season of P.S Weekly. After this summer, you'll be hearing a batch of new voices from the next cohort. But that doesn't mean we can't still stay in touch with you all.
We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences related to New York City schools. Have a story to share? Email us at psweekly@chalkbeat.org.
Thank you so much for your support. Until next school year.
Class dismissed!
P.S Weekly is a collaboration between The Bell and Chalkbeat New York, made possible by generous support from the Pinkerton Foundation, the Summerfield Foundation, FJC, and Hindenburg Systems. This episode was hosted by
Ava Stryker-Robbins
and Salma Baksh. Producers for this episode were
Sanaa Stokes
and
Marcellino Melika,
with reporting help from Chalkbeat reporter
Alex Zimmerman
and
Mike Elson-Rooney.
Our marketing lead for this week was
Sabrina DeKinney.
Our executive producer for the show is
Joanne DeLuna.
Executive editors include
Amy Zimmer
and
Taylor McGraw.
Additional production and reporting support was provided by
Sabrina DeKinney
and
Mira Gordon
and our friends at Chalkbeat. Special thanks to our interns
Miriam Galicia
and
McKenna Turner.
A big shout out to our mentors. Music from Blue Dot Sessions. And the jingle you heard at the beginning of this episode was created by the one and only
Erica Wong.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.